I think the problem we have in this country is that people who oppose the government of the day want to classify everybody to look like them. Because even in the last session of President Uhuru Kenyatta season 2, some of us who have been supporters of William Ruto, we were branded as sycophants. With some we call diehards, some we are being called you can catch a bullet. I think there is somebody called Bruno Mars who said, I can hold a grenade for you. So at the end of the day, we are just, the issue is, there is so much disinformation and information, say that when some of us defend the development record and political realignment in the country, we appear as sycophants. But being a sycophant of a government, a sitting government, will never be apologetic. Because this country, even when you go to America, when you belong to a particular leaning, even in UK, when you are a Republican, you should defend the policies of a Republican. When you are a Democrat, and that is why us in Kenya Kwanza and UDA, we are defending the bigger, because the team leader, the team captain of our team is President William Ruto. So we are the players who should come out and ensure the disinformation and misinformation that people have should be dismantled. And that is why most people call us sycophants or diehards. We do it because we believe that the President William Ruto should, and of course will deliver for Kenyans, especially in this region of Rift Valley and across the country. So, and you know, that is democracy. Why is it that when Senator Cherargei stated his position to support government, he's a psychopath? But why is it the people in opposition, when they oppose the government, they are Democrats? So, you know, you cannot have your cake and eat it, and these people are just being, they have nothing to offer, because if they state their position, everybody will listen. The way we defend government, they can critique, and we have never called them psychopaths for criticizing the government of the day.
You have shown a strong support to the Nadco and a broad-based government. Does it affect your relationship with the president, given that there is also a chance of creating a role for Raila Odinga as the Prime Minister?
In fact, I have been the biggest supporter of Nadco, National Dialogue report, Nadco report, when it was tabled before the Senate. And you know, there are a number of legislative interventions that are coming before the House. We have passed, like IEBC laws, the issues of election laws we have passed. It has good proposals, even in terms of devolution, the increment of getting money to come to mashinani. They are introducing ward development fund to ensure that we devolve funds to the local level at ward level. So the Nadco report is very good, and in my own opinion, and I think many people have been attacking me and fighting me for stating my mind, and that is why Kenya is a democratic country. You can speak your mind, I speak my mind. So in this Nadco report, I was proposing that we should amend to create the office and expand the executive. Because this country, whether we like it or not, this country is tribal. When one community is in power, others feel left out. But the only way to address the challenges is to broaden the executive. And that is why I have even proposed that outside the president and the deputy president, we need to create the office of the prime minister and 2 deputy prime ministers. And even you remember, I had even proposed an amendment to Nadco, although many people read too much about the term limit as opposed to other ingredients. Because even I was proposing, apart from the issue of term limit, I was proposing the creation and expansion and broadening of the executive so that we can have prime minister. Because if we can have Raila Odinga as the prime minister of the republic, we get 2 deputies from other regions. We have the president, we have the deputy president, we have the 2 speakers, National Assembly and the Senate. I can tell you the temperatures of national politics will drop by 50%. And that Nadco report, if we have to be fair, and this is a reality check, Kenyans must accept that going into the future, and you know the problem we have in this country by a constitution, we are neither parliamentary, pure parliamentary or pure presidential. We are a mongrel of something. So we must agree. And even another issue in the Nadco report, so that I conclude, is that I even proposed that in future, it doesn't make sense to appoint a minister, for example, to be a member of a cabinet minister. then that member of parliament, for example, is caused to resign. There is no need. What we should do when a member of parliament, either a senator or a national assembly, is appointed to the cabinet, they don't need to resign. What we need to do is to pay responsibility allowance. Because one, it becomes costly, because when they resign, you will need to organize an election, which is very costly for the country. Number two, you will be creating political instability from the regions they come. Number three, you would have saved the money. Because the moment an MP resigns and becomes a cabinet minister, you will need to give them a new salary structure. But if you are to appoint an MP to be a minister, you just give them responsibility around, they remain, and you save the country. That is why, if the people who are open-minded, they are not opposing anything, they should have listened to me and say, this proposal of having an MP not to resign, but give them a responsibility allowance to sit in the cabinet and be a minister, the way we used to do before, we would have saved a lot of millions to this country. Because, for example, the new ministers that have been appointed, you will need new car, new offices, new salary, new structure of pay, everything. If the, for example, an MP that was appointed to public service, for example, if he was just to be sworn in and give a responsibility allowance, there will be no change much to salaries and remuneration commission. So on this Nadco report, we are going to support. Even in parliament, we have brought a number of legislation and policy. Even I'm happy that Nadco captures the issue of corruption. You know, our counties are bastions of corruption. And that is why even on this issue of road maintenance levy fund, most of the members of National Assembly don't want 11 billion to be given to governors because they are accusing governors of perpetuating corruption. So in this Nadco, there is a proposal that we must fight corruption. And the only way to fight corruption in this country is that if you want to ensure corruption does not happen, the way when you go to Japan and China where people are being hanged for being corrupt, we should propose, and we even propose under Economic Crimes Act, I think that one of 2 or 3, we should prosecute the people who are corrupt within 6 months. The problem in this country, when somebody is found with corruption, they are prosecuted to eternity. So what we should propose, and I'm happy the Nadco, and the Nadco gave birth to broad-based. And now that Raila Odinga, you know, there was an attempted coup in June in 2024. Although the JNC protests were done with good intention. But along the way, there was infiltration of criminal elements. And those criminal elements wanted to do a coup. And when Raila Odinga came on board and stabilized the government, that is when now we had broad-based government. And this broad-based arrangement, I want to assure the country, will go beyond 2027. We will engage.
Most of the GNCs who are actually championing the maandamano, that was not their topic. Their issue was, apart from corruption, they felt that they have been left out of the government.
Correct.
So they also felt that maybe when the President Ruto was reshuffling the cabinet, he should at least have included some of them.
But the GNCs are there, like this guy of water. He's a GNC. And the news peers of information. But you know, the fact that I think what should happen is not even having GNCs in cabinet. What should happen is we have deliberate affirmative interventions to ensure most of the young people, including GNCs and millennials and others, and the youth of this country, have access to opportunities without unnecessarily knowing or becoming a cabinet minister. Because if we fight corruption, the services will be easily, because when a GNC wants to get an ID, they will not need to buy their way through or a birth certificate or want to what we call kazi majuku